Morning arrives, stillness fills the space. Your alarm interrupts the quiet, and during that brief instant before your consciousness becomes crowded with ideas, before reality presents its challenges, you possess complete possibility at this very second. At this precise location, you may permit this day to control you, or you may grasp it firmly and claim it as your own. Marcus Aurelius understood this struggle deeply. Emperor of Rome, soldier thinker. He encountered mornings identical to yours, and he documented these thoughts in his personal writings at sunrise. When you experience difficulty rising from bed, remind yourself, I must proceed to function as a complete person, not as someone enslaved to ease, not as someone victimized by situations, as a complete person who selects power over frailty, discipline over aimlessness. Hear this, your consciousness will become either your instrument or your confinement, and that choice becomes determined during the initial 30 minutes following your awakening. Most individuals surrender their authority before their first meal. They reach for their device, they browse, they permit worry, comparison, and disorder to overwhelm their awareness. And when they finally understand what occurred, the day has already claimed them. However, not you. Not this day, not ever again. Stoicism penetrates the confusion with one precisely defined reality. You possess no ability to dominate the universe, but you possess the capacity to control your reaction to it. And that control commences when you open your vision. It commences when you determine that this morning, this unique, irreplaceable morning, will not be squandered on mechanical behavior. Seneca cautioned us, we experience pain more frequently through mental pictures than through actual events. Cease suffering. Cease creating catastrophic possibilities. Cease practicing defeat within your consciousness. Begin directing your morning alternatively. Each sunrise represents a restart option, a fresh opportunity, a pure beginning delivered to you by existence itself. You require no perfection. You require no complete understanding of your whole existence. You simply require victory during the following 60 minutes. Because when you claim your morning, you create forward motion, and forward motion represents everything. It represents the distinction between individuals who discuss transformation and individuals who embody it. At this moment, we are examining 10 Stoic techniques that will revolutionize how you begin your day. Not abstract concepts, not thinking for the purpose of appearing intelligent, actual instruments. You may employ each morning to train your consciousness, recover your vitality, and navigate through your day like someone who commands it. These are not inspirational, temporary solutions. These represent combat-proven foundations that assisted ancient soldiers, emperors, and thinkers to endure disorder and construct remarkable existences. And I require something from you at this moment. Press that approval option. Not subsequently. Now leave a statement informing me you are prepared to transform your mornings. Distribute this with one individual who requires hearing it. Subscribe to this platform because we are constructing a force of individuals who decline to exist on mechanical behavior and do not. You venture to omit a solitary segment of this presentation. Every element holds importance. Every technique develops upon the previous. Your forthcoming self observes. Make them satisfied if you are prepared to command your mornings. Enter this within the statements. At this moment, I awaken with intention. Number 1. This day belongs to you. Create significance with it each morning. You receive 24 completely fresh hours. Nobody possesses the ability to remove them from you. Nobody possesses the ability to expend them for you. They belong to you. But here exists the complication. They vanish, whether you utilize them or not. The Stoics named this memento mori, the acknowledgement of mortality, not to create sadness, but to awaken you. Seneca documented it exists. Not that we possess a brief duration to exist, but that we squander much of it. Consider that we behave as though we possess eternity, but we do not, and the mornings we discard, we never recover them. When you awaken, your initial idea holds significance. Most individuals awaken considering what they failed to complete yesterday or what might proceed incorrectly this day. That represents a failing strategy. Alternatively, begin with a straightforward announcement: this day belongs to me, I command it, I will not wander through it. This is not arrogance. It represents possession. It represents declining to become a traveler within your personal existence. The instant you accept accountability for your day, you reclaim your authority. The Stoics maintained that each day represented a small version of a complete existence. How you exist. This day represents how you exist. Your existence, if you squander this day, you are rehearsing, squandering your existence. If you respect this day, you are rehearsing an existence of significance. So when your alarm activates, do not delay it. Do not examine your device. Do not browse, position yourself upright. Take a respiration and remind yourself this day will never arrive again. It represents not a practice session. It represents the actual thing. Epictetus stated, freedom represents the single valuable objective in existence. It becomes achieved by ignoring things that exist beyond our domination. And what exists beyond your domination yesterday, the future, other individuals' perspectives, what exists within your domination at this moment, this instant, this selection. You possess no ability to dominate if precipitation occurs this day, but you possess the ability to dominate, whether you express dissatisfaction about it or secure an umbrella. You possess no ability to dominate if someone demonstrates rudeness to you, but you possess the ability to dominate whether you permit it to destroy your tranquility, creating this day. Significant does not indicate you must conquer the universe. It indicates you appear with purpose. It indicates you navigate through your day with consciousness, not mechanical behavior. It indicates you question yourself. Am I utilizing my duration, or does my duration utilize me? When you commence regarding each day as the offering it represents, everything transforms you. Cease delaying. You cease anticipating the flawless instant. You cease existing within your consciousness and commence existing within your existence. This day belongs to you. Do not squander it. Do not preserve it. Exist it. Leave your announcement below. State, I command my day. Number 2, your ideas form your day. Marcus Aurelius once stated, the satisfaction of your existence relies upon the standard of your ideas, not your situations, not your financial resources, not the atmospheric conditions or the congestion or what someone communicated to you. Your ideas and the struggle for your day becomes achieved or forfeited within your consciousness before you ever depart from bed. If you awaken, considering I possess no desire to execute this, then you will not. If you awaken, considering I possess no capacity to manage this, then you likely will not. But if you awaken considering I select how I react to this day, everything transforms. Your consciousness represents the most influential instrument you possess, but most individuals never train it. They permit ideas to proceed uncontrolled, like wild animals pulling them in each direction. The Stoics comprehended that discipline commences with consciousness. You must capture your ideas before they capture you. When a harmful idea emerges, this exists too difficult. I am not adequate, what represents the purpose. Do not permit it to establish itself. Challenge it, dispute it, question yourself. Does this idea assist me or damage me? Does it represent truth? Or does it simply represent fear? Communicating. Seneca cautioned we experience pain more frequently through mental pictures than through actual events. Consider how many occasions you have worried about something that never occurred. How many hours you have forfeited, replaying discussions that have concluded, how many mornings you have commenced within a mental confinement of your personal construction. The Stoics rehearsed something named premeditatio malorum, creating mental pictures of the catastrophic. So you exist, prepared, not immobilized, but they did not remain there. They utilized it to construct resilience. Then they proceeded forward with understanding. Each morning, you receive the opportunity to select the perspective you examine through. You may concentrate on what exists incorrect, or you may concentrate on what exists achievable. You may replay yesterday's errors, or you may acquire knowledge from them and permit them to depart. This is not harmful optimism. This represents purposeful consideration. It represents declining to permit your consciousness to intimidate you into a negative day before it even commences when you awaken. Take 60 seconds, simply 60, and establish your mental orientation. Communicate to yourself. I will not become governed by fear. This day, I will not become reactive. I will become thoughtful. I will become powerful. The standard of your ideas determines the standard of your behaviors. And the standard of your behaviors determines the standard of your existence. It exists. That's straightforward. If you consider small, you will behave small. If you consider defeated, you will behave defeated. But if you consider with intention, with bravery, with discipline, you will behave that method too. Your ideas represent not random occurrences, they represent seeds, and each morning you are cultivating a garden. Cultivate intelligently. Let me observe your dedication document within the statements I select my ideas. Number 3, abandon yesterday. Behind one of the most influential lessons from Stoicism represents this. You possess no ability to modify the history, not one instant of it, not one statement, not one error. And yet so many of us transport yesterday into this day like a massive container we decline to position down. We awaken, considering about what we should have communicated, what we should have executed, who we should have existed. And while we remain trapped in yesterday, this day escapes away. Marcus Aurelius documented, restrict yourself to the current, not because the history does not hold importance, but because attaching to it removes your authority. Each morning represents a restart option. It represents an opportunity to commence fresh, to abandon what failed to function, and to advance forward without the mass of remorse. This does not indicate you disregard your errors. The Stoics existed significant on examination. They maintained in reviewing your day, acquiring knowledge from it, and improving. But there exists a distinction between acquiring knowledge and remaining acquiring knowledge. States, I observe what I executed incorrectly, and I will execute better. Remaining states, I possess no belief I executed. That I exist, terrible, I will never transform. One advances you forward, the other maintains you trapped. Epictetus instructed that we disturb ourselves through our personal evaluations. It exists, not the history that exists, damaging you. It represents the narrative you are communicating to yourself about the history. Perhaps you failed at something, perhaps you damaged someone, perhaps you overlooked an opportunity acceptable that occurred. But who states it must define you, who states you possess no ability to awaken this day and exist different. The Stoics maintained in the authority of now. They maintained that each instant represents an opportunity to rehearse virtue, to behave with intelligence, to commence again. Abandoning yesterday is not about fabricating. It failed to occur. It represents about declining to permit it to dominate you. It represents about acknowledging that you represent not your catastrophic instant. You represent not your largest error. You represent someone who possesses the capacity of development, of transformation, of appearing better this day than you executed yesterday. And that commences with a straightforward selection to abandon what exists behind you, where it belongs behind you. When you awaken the following day, question yourself. Am I transporting something I require no need to transport? If the response represents affirmative position, it down. Forgive yourself, forgive others, not because they merit it, but because you merit tranquility. You merit to navigate through your day without pulling chains. The history has concluded. This day exists here, and you receive the opportunity to determine what you transport into it. Show me you are prepared to advance forward, enter. I abandon what I possess, no ability to modify. Number 4, dominate your consciousness. Initially, there exists a reason the Stoics expended so much duration discussing the consciousness, because everything commences there, your feelings, your behaviors, your outcomes, your complete existence. It all proceeds from what exists occurring between your vision. Epictetus stated it clearly, you possess authority over your consciousness, not external occurrences. Acknowledge this, and you will discover power. Most individuals expend their mornings reacting. They awaken, examine their device, and immediately surrender their mental vitality away. A notification, a communication, a headline, and simply like that they exist. No longer in domination. Their consciousness exists, becoming pulled in 10 directions before they even depart from bed. Dominating your consciousness does not indicate forcing yourself to consider a particular method. It indicates becoming purposeful about where you position your focus. It indicates not permitting each passing idea dictate your disposition. The Stoics rehearsed what they named the discipline of agreement, selecting which ideas to receive and which to reject. Not each idea that enters your consciousness merits your vitality. Some ideas represent simply confusion. Some represent old structures attempting to duplicate themselves, and you possess the authority to communicate. No, I am not proceeding there this day. When you awaken, your consciousness exists at its most fragile. It remains partially asleep, still processing visions, still unclear. And that exists precisely when fear, uncertainty, and worry attempt to infiltrate in. They understand you exist, not completely alert, yet so they communicate things like you exist, not prepared, or this will exist difficult, or why even attempt, and if you exist not careful, you will accept them. But here exists the reality. Those ideas represent not you. They represent simply mental interference, and you possess no need to obey them. The Stoics maintained in morning practices not because they existed superstitious, but because they understood the consciousness requires organization before you execute anything else. Take domination position quietly. For an instant, breathe, establish yourself. Remind yourself of what holds importance. Remind yourself of who you desire to exist. This is not meditation for the purpose of existing calm. This represents preparation. This represents you. Taking the controls before the day attempts to discard you off direction. Marcus Aurelius would awaken and communicate to himself this day, I will encounter individuals who exist, interfering, ungrateful, arrogant. He existed, not becoming harmful. He existed preparing his consciousness, so nothing could capture him unprepared. When you dominate your consciousness, initially everything else becomes simpler. You do not overreact, you do not descend, you do not permit one negative instant to destroy the following 10. You navigate through your day with understanding, with purpose, with authority. And that does not occur by accident. It occurs because you determined initially thing in the morning that your consciousness belongs to you, and nobody and nothing else receives the opportunity to remove it from you. Claim your authority within the statements below. I dominate my consciousness. Number 5, commence. Powerful, conclude, more powerful. There exists a principle in physics named momentum. An object in movement remains in movement, and the identical represents accurate for your existence. How you commence your morning constructs momentum that transports you through the complete day. If you commence slow, distracted, and partially committed, that vitality follows you. But if you commence powerful, with understanding, with concentration, with behavior, you construct a force that exists difficult to cease. The Stoics comprehended this profoundly. They failed to anticipate, to experience, motivated. They failed to anticipate inspiration. They behaved initially and the vitality followed. Seneca documented commence at once, to exist and calculate each separate day as a separate existence that indicates you do not gradually enter into your day. You do not prepare to it. You attack it. Not with pressure or hostility, but with intention. You determine what holds importance most, and you execute that initially, not subsequently. Not when you experience like it initially, because when you claim the morning, you claim the day, and when you claim the day, you claim your existence, it exists. That straightforward commencing powerful does not indicate you must execute something massive. It indicates you execute something that holds importance. Perhaps it represents 10 minutes of reading. Perhaps it represents a physical training. Perhaps it represents documenting. Perhaps it represents addressing the most difficult task on your list while your consciousness remains still fresh. Whatever it represents, it should represent something that creates you experience, like you have already achieved before most individuals have even commenced. The Stoics named this rehearsing virtue, executing the correct thing even when it exists difficult, especially when it exists difficult. But here exists the essential commencing powerful represents only half the struggle. You also must conclude more powerful. Numerous individuals commence with fire and diminish out by midday. They create significant plans and abandon halfway through. The Stoics detested that they maintained in endurance, in consistency, in observing things through. Marcus Aurelius stated simply that you execute the correct thing. The remainder does not hold importance. It exists not about existing flashy. It exists about existing faithful to your commitments. It exists about executing what you communicated. You would execute even when nobody observes, even when it exists, boring even when it exists, difficult. Each morning, question yourself 2 questions. How will I commence this day, and how will I conclude this day? Because the reality represents a powerful commencement, with a weak conclusion represents simply squandered possibility, but a powerful commencement with a powerful conclusion that represents how you construct an existence. You exist satisfied. Of that represents how you construct discipline, that represents how you become unstoppable, commence powerful, remain powerful, conclude more powerful, announce your purpose, state. I conclude what I commence. Number 6, behave. Now do not anticipate. Procrastination represents a silent destroyer. It fails to scream at you. It fails to announce itself. It simply communicates. You possess the ability to execute it subsequently, and before you understand it, subsequently becomes never. The Stoics possessed zero patience for postponement. They comprehended that duration represents the one thing you possess, no ability to ever recover. Marcus Aurelius cautioned, "Consider of yourself as deceased. You have existed your existence now. Take what remains and exist it properly." That represents not morbid, that represents urgency, that represents an awakening signal, because each instant you expend, anticipating, represents an instant you will never observe again. Most individuals anticipate the flawless conditions. They anticipate to experience prepared. They anticipate more duration, more financial resources, more confidence. But here exists the reality. Flawless never arrives, and while you exist, anticipating existence passes you by. Seneca stated, "While we anticipate existence, existence passes. You require no readiness. You require no complete understanding figured out. You simply require to commence at this moment, this morning, with whatever you possess." The Stoics failed to maintain in grand gestures. They maintained in small, consistent behaviors. They maintained in executing what you possess, the ability with what you possess, where you exist. Behavior represents the antidote to worry when you exist trapped within your consciousness. Overthinking, worrying, creating mental pictures. worst-case possibilities, behavior penetrates through all of it. It possesses no importance. If the behavior represents flawless, it simply holds importance that you navigate because movement constructs understanding. Movement constructs momentum, and momentum constructs outcomes. The longer you anticipate, the more difficult it becomes. The more you consider about executing something, the more reasons you discover not to execute it. But when you behave immediately, you provide no opportunity to fear or opportunity to communicate you out of it. Epictetus instructed, "No significant thing becomes constructed suddenly." But here exists the thing. Significant things become constructed through immediate repeated behavior, not the following day, not the following week. Now each morning represents an opportunity to rehearse immediacy, to cease negotiating with yourself, to cease creating excuses, to cease communicating. I will execute it subsequently, and simply execute it now. It possesses no need to exist. Significant: create your bed. Take a cold shower. Document 1 sentence. Execute 10 upward pushes. Simply behave, because behavior constructs trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself to follow through, you become unstoppable. Anticipating experience is safe, but it represents a confinement. It represents the illusion of domination. You consider you exist, becoming careful, existing intelligent, existing strategic, but really you exist simply scared, and that represents acceptable. Fear represents human, but you possess no need to obey it. The Stoics instructed that bravery is not the absence of fear. It represents behavior during the presence of fear. So experience the fear, acknowledge it, and then execute the thing. Anyway, behave now. Not because you experience like it, but because you represent someone who behaves. Because you represent someone who fails to anticipate permission from existence. You take it, prove you exist. Completed anticipating, enter below. I behave without postponement. Number 7, concentration provides you vitality. Here exists something most individuals receive backwards. They consider they require vitality to concentrate. But the reality represents concentration, constructs vitality. When your consciousness exists scattered, when you exist attempting to execute 10 things at once. When you exist jumping from task to task, you experience drained, exhausted, overwhelmed. But when you concentrate on one thing, when you pour your complete focus into a solitary task, something transforms you. Experience alive, you experience influential, you experience capable. The Stoics named this single focus. They maintained that the fragmented consciousness represents the suffering consciousness. Marcus Aurelius. Documented: concentrate each minute like a Roman, like a man, on executing what exists in front of you, with precise and genuine seriousness, not what exists behind you, not what might occur subsequently, what exists in front of you at this moment, this instant, this task, this respiration. Because when you exist completely current, you exist not squandering vitality on worry, you exist not releasing focus to distraction. You exist directing everything you possess into what holds importance, and that represents where actual authority exists each morning. Distractions exist, anticipating you, your device, your electronic mail, social platforms, the news, other individuals' problems, and each occasion you surrender into a distraction, you exist, surrendering away a piece of your vitality. The Stoics comprehended that focus represents a limited resource. You only possess so much of it, and where you position it determines what you construct, what you accomplish, and who you become. So guard it, protect it, do not permit the universe to remove it from you before you even commence your day. Seneca stated, to exist everywhere represents to exist nowhere. When you exist, multitasking, You exist not really executing anything well, you exist simply spreading yourself thin. But when you concentrate, truly concentrate on one thing, you execute it better, you execute it faster, and you experience better executing it. Concentration is not simply about productivity, it represents about presence, it represents about honoring. The instant you exist in it represents about communicating. This holds importance. I exist here. I am not partially current. I exist completely committed each morning. Determine on your concentration. What represents the one thing that if you executed it this day would create everything else simpler or unnecessary? Execute that initially provide it. Your complete focus. No device, no interruptions, no divided consciousness. Simply you and the work the Stoics maintained. That virtue represents its personal reward, but concentration represents your extraordinary ability. It represents what separates the individuals who wander from the individuals who dominate, and it commences the instant you awaken with the determination. This day I will exist completely current. This day I will concentrate, communicate the universe, your determination state. I concentrate with purpose. Number 8, small victories. Develop significant. There exists a falsehood. We communicate ourselves that success must exist, massive to hold importance, that unless we exist, creating massive leaps, we exist, not creating progress. But the Stoics understood better. They comprehended that greatness is not constructed in one explosive instant. It becomes constructed in 1,000 small, consistent behaviors that nobody observes. Epictetus stated, well-being becomes achieved by small steps, but represents truly no small thing. Each morning you awaken and execute one small thing correctly. You exist. Constructing something, you exist. Creating momentum, you exist. Becoming someone fresh, considerate. You fail to become disciplined by creating one significant determination. You become disciplined by creating the identical small determination over and over again. You fail to construct power by lifting massive. Once you construct it, repetition by repetition, day by day, the identical represents accurate for your consciousness. Each morning you select to rise instead of delaying. That represents a victory. Each morning you select to commence your day with purpose instead of browsing. That represents a victory. And those victories, they accumulate, they multiply, they transform into something influential. Marcus Aurelius documented in his private journal, you possess authority over your consciousness. Not external occurrences acknowledge this, and you will discover power. He existed, not documenting that. For the universe, he existed, reminding himself each solitary day. He awakened as the most influential man in Rome, and yet he still possessed to rehearse the fundamentals. He still possessed to remind himself, to remain concentrated, to remain humble, to remain disciplined, because he understood that small daily techniques represent what maintain you established. They represent what maintain you rational. They represent what maintain you powerful. Small victories provide you evidence that you exist capable, evidence that you possess the ability to follow through, evidence that you exist, not simply someone who discusses transformation. You represent someone who constructs it, and that evidence constructs confidence, not loud, arrogant confidence. Quiet, unshakable confidence, the type that possesses no need to announce itself, the type that simply understands each morning represents an opportunity to collect another victory, to prove to yourself once again that you represent the type of individual who appears, who maintains promises, who fails to abandon. Do not underestimate the small things creating your bed. Drinking water, taking 5 minutes to breathe, documenting down one objective. These are not trivial. They represent the foundation. They represent the constructing blocks, and over duration, those blocks construct something magnificent. The Stoics failed to pursue glory. They pursued excellence in the ordinary. They pursued consistency. They pursued small daily virtue. And that represents what created them significant. So commence small, achieve small, and observe how those small victories develop into an existence. You exist satisfied. Celebrate your progress, document. Small steps advance me forward. Number 9, discipline transports freedom. Most individuals consider discipline represents a confinement they consider. It represents about restriction, domination, communicating no to everything, enjoyable. But the Stoics comprehended something more profound. Discipline represents what establishes you free. When you exist undisciplined, you represent a slave to your impulses, a slave to your feelings, a slave to distractions. You awaken, and immediately your device dominates you, your cravings dominate you, your disposition dominates you. You exist not free. You exist becoming discarded around by forces you never determined to follow. But when you rehearse discipline, you reclaim the control, you determine, you select, you direct your personal existence. Epictetus, who existed once a slave himself, documented, "No man represents free who exists, not master of himself." He understood what actual freedom indicated. It exists not about executing whatever you desire, whenever you desire. That represents disorder, that represents weakness disguised as freedom. Actual freedom represents possessing the authority to execute what holds importance, even when you fail to experience like it. It represents existing capable to communicate, no to brief duration, pleasure because you exist, committed to extended duration, fulfillment. It represents awakening each morning and behaving according to your values, not your impulses. Discipline during the morning constructs freedom for the remainder of your day. When you commence powerful, when you manage the difficult stuff. Initially, when you construct momentum early, you exist, not pressured subsequently. You exist not scrambling. You exist not behind you. Already achieved. You already executed what most individuals will not execute. And now you receive the opportunity to navigate through your day with simplicity, with confidence, with tranquility. That represents freedom. Not the freedom to execute nothing. The freedom to execute what holds importance without existing dominated by fear, distraction, or uncertainty. Seneca stated, "Most influential represents he who possesses himself within his personal authority." And that authority is not discovered in motivation. Motivation diminishes, it arrives and departs, like the atmospheric conditions. Discipline represents what remains. Discipline represents what appears when motivation exists. Nowhere to be discovered. Discipline represents the bridge between objectives and accomplishment. It represents the distinction between individuals who dream and individuals who execute, and each morning represents an opportunity to rehearse it, to strengthen it, to prove to yourself that you exist, not dominated by ease. You exist, dominated by selection. The irony represents this: the more disciplined you exist, the more free you experience, because discipline eliminates the mental disorder. It eliminates the guilt, the remorse, the constant "I should have executed," that you understand you appeared. You understand you executed your part, and that provides you tranquility, that provides you freedom. So do not resist discipline, embrace it, construct it, permit it to form your mornings, because discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It represents the path to it. Claim your freedom below. Enter discipline establishes me free. Number 10. You determine your day. Here exists the ultimate reality. The Stoics desire you to comprehend nobody else exists arriving to rescue your day. Nobody else will create it meaningful. Nobody else will determine how you experience, how you behave, or what you accomplish. That exists all on you. Marcus Aurelius documented very little exists required to create a happy existence. It exists all within yourself, within your method of considering, not within your situations, not within what occurs to you, within how you react, within what you select, within how you consider each solitary morning. You stand at a crossroads. One path advances to reaction, permitting the universe to dictate your vitality, your disposition, your direction. The other path advances to purpose, determining who you will exist, regardless of what the universe discards at you. The Stoics existed by a straightforward foundation. You dominate your internal universe, and that represents adequate. You possess no ability to dominate the atmospheric conditions. You possess no ability to dominate congestion. You possess no ability to dominate what other individuals communicate or execute, but you possess the ability to dominate how you encounter it all. And that domination that represents your authority. When you awaken, you exist. Not awakening to a day that exists already documented. You exist awakening to a blank page, and you exist. Holding the pen affirmative, there will exist challenges affirmative. There will exist things you failed to plan for, but none of that determines your day. You execute. You determine if you will exist current or distracted. You determine if you will exist grateful or bitter. You determine if you will navigate forward or remain trapped. Epictetus stated it exists, not what occurs to you, but how you react to it. That holds importance, and your reaction that represents your selection always. This is not about fabricating everything, represents flawless. It represents about accepting possession. It represents about declining to exist a victim of your personal existence. The Stoics encountered wars, loss, betrayal, illness, all the catastrophic things existence could discard at them. And yet they selected to react with power, with grace, with intelligence. They failed to question, why exists this occurring to me? They questioned, what possess I the ability to execute with this? And that transformation from victim to agent transforms everything. It transforms how you experience it, transforms what you execute, it transforms who you become. So each morning remind yourself, I determine how I commence. I determine what I concentrate on. I determine what I surrender my vitality to. I determine if this day will exist squandered or if it will exist existed. Nobody possesses the ability to remove that from you. Not your employer, not your situations, not your history. You represent the author of your day. You represent the captain of your consciousness. And when you truly possess that, when you cease anticipating existence to provide you permission and commence providing yourself permission, everything transforms. You cease wandering, you commence directing, and that represents when you become truly unstoppable, possess your authority state. I represent the author of my day. So here we exist 10 methods to discipline your consciousness each solitary morning, utilizing the ancient intelligence of Stoicism. But here exists the thing. Understanding this fails to transform anything. Reading this fails to transform anything. It represents what you execute the following morning that holds importance. It represents whether you awaken and actually rehearse this, whether you take domination of your ideas, whether you abandon yesterday behind, whether you behave now, instead of anticipating, whether you commence powerful and conclude more powerful. The Stoics failed to document thinking to sound intelligent. They documented it to survive, to thrive, to construct existences of significance in a universe that existed simply as chaotic, simply as uncertain, simply as difficult as ours. And they executed it. The identical method, you will one morning at a duration, one selection, at a duration one. Disciplined behavior at a duration. Marcus Aurelius stated, squander no more duration, arguing about what a good man should exist. Exist one, and that commences the following day. That commences the instant you open your vision and determine that this day will exist different, that you will exist different. You require no perfection, you simply require to exist. purposeful. You require no complete togetherness. You simply require to appear, because each morning you select discipline over distraction. You exist, voting for the individual you desire to become, and those votes accumulate. They become habits. Habits become character, and character becomes destiny. So determine at this moment, who will you exist the following morning? Will you delay and surrender your authority away, or will you rise, take command and construct the existence you understand you exist capable of? The Stoics maintained that thinking is not something you study, it represents something you exist, and each solitary morning represents an opportunity to exist, it to prove it, to become it. So take what you have acquired here, utilize it, rehearse it, create it yours, and remember, you represent not your situations, you represent not your history, you represent not your catastrophic day, you represent someone who possesses the capacity of greatness, and that greatness commences with disciplining your consciousness. Each solitary morning before you depart, execute me a favor, press that approval option, leave a statement with one of the affirmations from this day. Distribute this presentation with someone who requires hearing it, and subscribe to this platform, because we exist simply commencing. This represents about constructing a community of individuals who decline to settle, who decline to wander, who select discipline, power, and intention. Each solitary day I will observe you within the following one. Now depart, awaken the following day, and possess your day. Seal this commitment. Leave your final affirmation each morning. I rise with discipline.